to sew on Teddy's face, I've just started at the bottom here, and I've got these big pins just to position it on. And what you want to do is make sure you've got the muzzle on where you want it, because you're going to put the eyes just above and slightly to the sides of the muzzle, then the ears. So you want the face to look good. And once you've got the facial features on, then you can put the appendages on. Now the muzzle, you want to stuff it a little bit. Don't leave it empty, you want it stuffed. So when you put your pins in, which please don't use these, you can hardly see it. You see that one? Most homes probably have these. Don't use those at all, because one, they're not long enough, and two, they'll just vanish into your work and then you may forget. So if you haven't got these, go and get some. I think boys sell them in Yorkshire, but you can get them in a lot of shops. Big, might not have a star on, but they're long and they're big, and you're not going to lose them. So put your muzzle on. I've threaded my needle. I always put the, you don't have to do this, I'm just giving you some suggestions. I always start where I finished at the bottom, underneath its chin. And what you want to do is, and I suggest you don't do anything tight at first. You see the row here, well it's a round, but we'll call it a row for now. Each row, it's got a natural hole. I generally go where the natural hole is, and then come up on above. So do that. And I don't pull it tight until I like the way it looks. I just gently just keep it loose. And then go into the muzzle. And I use every stitch. It's a little bit fiddly, off camera and on. And do that. But don't pull it tight, because you can adjust it as you go around. Because this end here on your muzzle may go in a bit. So I would suggest, I ain't put enough stuffing in there, you see. Stuff your little muzzle a little ways, just a little bit. Because when you get, say, halfway, you want to give it a good stuff. But the side you're working on, you want it stuffed so it sits nice for you when you're sewing in. Again, go in the natural holes. Doesn't matter if you go under the muzzle a little bit. Nobody's perfect, unless you've been doing this for years, and then you generally are. Then go through the stitch. And do that all the way around. So pop your muzzle down, because you don't want to be too far over on the face. You want to be almost in line with the muzzle there. I always just take your time, don't rush. And again, don't pull it too tight, because you don't want to distort all this work you've done. Put your needle in your stitch on your muzzle, and every so often just get your teddy, readjust it, make sure it looks okay, and do about 3 or 4 stitches, and then if you like the position, you know, reposition, make sure it's okay, keep putting some stuffing in if you need to, then you can pull them tight. And then go again, do every 3 or 4 stitches and do it all the way around to the beginning. So I'll do mine off camera and I'll come back. There you go. Teddy's snout's on. Fasten off. So I went right to the bottom. Make sure all your stitches are nice and snug. And then backwards and forwards through your snout, and that's why I fasten off. And I always finish off generally at the bottom, pull it a little bit tight, snip, and it'll just naturally go through. Find the last where you went through and just pull it with your needle, make it nice and round. For the eyes, you're going to need the black yarn. Now, you don't want too much, you've got plenty. Thread your needle. Now, I generally put safety eyes in, but because I've made the teddy as the pattern says, I haven't done so. I could have done because it's for my mum, and it's not for a baby. Now, according to the picture, and that's how I do things. This is not me telling you do this. Just look what it looks like on the bear, and approximately whatever stitches you can count across. So it's like 2 stitches the edge of the bear's eye, the right hand side of it, and then do the same on yours. Or, I know these are stars. This is a good idea. Now the little one, I've just lost it. If you've got, no matter what length of the needle is, you know, the pin, as long as you've got a big head on it, you can do the same. And I'm only just showing you for purposes. You see what I mean? Let me just get my big one, hold on. I'm not looking at the picture, I'm just having an idea. And just play around with popping pins where you think the eyes, so go across the same one, but that might be too high. You know, if you look, just ignore the shape. It'd be better if you didn't have stars, but I haven't got anything else. And also another tip, I haven't got it on me, tape measure. You can go, just measure approximately away from the nose and see what distance is. You can always kind of count the last row where the snout is, count the stitches across and go up, start on a similar level and do it like that. So I'm just going to pop mine in and just put this little one in. Don't you do this, but I'm going to do it. And pop it in. Actually, not in the hole, but in the stitch, so it's less likely to go through. Now, it doesn't tell you how to do it, does it not? So if you want to pause the video and go and watch embroider eyes on teddies, I presume crochet and knitting's the same. But one way you can do it is the natural hole that you've got in your stitching is go in, and I would say 2 stitches long, go in and out. Don't matter about the tail for now. And then do that a few times. And see how it looks. Don't pull it too tight. But what you want to do is, you want a lot of yarn in one area. You could go up the next row and do the same in 2 stitches. And what happens is, I'll take the needle out, the pin out now. What happens is, you just go in them 2 stitches, go in and go around like that. It will build up the amount of yarn in that one area, and you'll end up something like a nose like that, but it'll be an eye. Doesn't have to be perfect. So go like that, not too tight. So I'm getting the right shape. I just need to build that up and build that up. And then I find one eye's fine, but then it's getting the right position on the other one. So just play around with your pins and do that. And then it'll be the ear time then. Once you've got your eye how you like it, I just go from where I finished, come up somewhere through the head, and then with my scissors just snip off most of it, and then come up through a natural hole, and then just poke your little tail. Make sure your point, whether you've got pointy scissors or blunt, together, and then just gently, and there you go, and then do your other eye. I've popped one ear on, I've done both eyes. I think the head needs a bit of something. I want to do a bow or something. I've stuck one ear on, I've still left the tail dangling, and then this is what these pins come in great for, because you can position your appendage, pin them on, a bit of a tip, take a photograph from a distance. I can't do that here because I'm filming. Do a photograph, and then just tweak it, and then just before you start sewing. And what I've done is, because it's the same colour as well, it doesn't matter as much, you don't have to be as neat if you like, but if you just follow the line how you want it on, I go in the front, take the yarn, push it through the ear, the two pieces, it's like one piece but you folded it together, and come out of the similar place at the back, and then do a small stitch again just where the natural holes are in the teddy, so you're not forcing to go through an actual piece of yarn. If you can go through the natural holes, your needle glides through, and that's what I do. I go from one side, push it through, push the needle through the ear, do a little stitch, a little tack if you like at the front, only one, and then go back through all from whichever way you're doing it, top to bottom or bottom to top. Like I say, for me the first one's always looks great, and then trying to match the second. Another tip, have the teddy facing you like this, have it somewhat like so it looks right. So do it from different angles, not just the front, because then sometimes when you lift your head up it might be further back, even though at front it looks fine. You want it to be something similar when you look down on the top of the head. So after I've put that other ear on, I'll show you how to do one arm. Well, the leg's similar, it's just how you want to position it. And the tail, I don't need to show you that. Obviously you can put it on or not, I will. And do it the same as the muzzle. Again, use your pins if you've got them, and stick the tail on, and then you can sew. I always start, like I said, with the muzzle underneath, just my personal preference, and then go around. So I'll come back and do one of the arms and the legs. For Teddy's arms, again, your pins come in perfectly for this. I'll show you on the leg. The reason I said don't stuff right to the top is so you can pinch the top and you're not fighting through the stuffing. So if you put too much stuffing in, just pull a little bit out, and like I said, last couple of rows leave it empty of stuffing so you can pinch it when you're sewing into the top of the body. And then same on the legs, exactly the same principle. That's how I do it. So I've made sure my arms are nice and stiff, and approximately 2 rows approx, because remember, where's this scarf? Just hold on a minute. I mean, a scarf's not going to do much movement of anything anyway, but you want to put a scarf on, you see, so it does cover up the joints at the top. But I wouldn't put the, it doesn't tell you this, does it? It actually doesn't show you neither. But I would put his arms similar place, so you can put it on the same line. Do what I've done, use your pins, measure it, also go like that, top of your head. Make sure one's not too far at the back or far forward, and once you're happy with that, you can sew them in, and we're nearly done. Sew mine on, and I'll see you for the legs. I'm not going to lie to you, this is going to be a little bit more fiddly than the other bits, the muzzle and ears, because it's quite tight with the neck. Take your time and make sure you go through all pieces of your crochet, the arm and just like you've done for the ear, use the natural holes. And what I do is I go just beyond the width of the arm, and the same at the back, so it pinches it down in small stitches. Arms are on, nearly finished, just got the legs, and then you can put the scarf on. Now there's a couple of ways you can do it. You see the bottom, the magic circle, with your pins you can position what would look equal. Just put these in, hold on. I might go and get some new ones of these, you know. Instead of having the stars, have some baubles, because they will be better for the eyes. But I could use these principally for the legs. So that one looks a bit too far over, that to the other leg. So I just muck about so it looks right. And you want it parallel with the arms as well. In other words, you don't want one leg back here and one leg at the front. So you want to, from all angles, like this, you know, move Teddy about before you actually sew them on. And then sew them on how you like. You could sew them on. I'm saying this because this is a photo shot. The bear's obviously been positioned, and then they've done the background around it. I don't know if the legs are put on like so, and then he's just put forward because he's sat down, which he's sat down, or is it pinched and sewn on so when he does sit up he is like that. If you put your bear's legs on like so, like the ears and the arms, it will still sit down when you want him to sit down. It's just if you want him to be a sitting bear all the time, I would put the legs on, pinch it like the arms, and put them on that way like that. You know, like that. So through like that. And keep positioning them. Once you've got one on, and you like that position, then you can play around, use your pins to position the legs in. I'll do mine off camera. I actually don't know which way to do it now anyway. You do what you like, or you can go in the round like the muzzle. That's another way as well. You know, so instead of being pinched, go around. I find that for the legs especially, it's a bit more hard work. But you decide what you want to do, and I'll come back and we can. Oh, there's the tail in there. Forgot about that bit. There's a tail. I've finished the bear. I didn't put the tail on. I'm not going to bother. So I put the legs on, pinch the tops just like the arms, and do the same principle as the ears. He won't stand up, I don't think. No, I tried it before. I'll just sit him down. There you go. Scarf looks okay. Could have done it a bit longer, but I think it's a bit stiffer because of the way I've edged it. It would have been a little bit floppier if I'd have not edged it. There's the one on the bag. It's not too bad, is it? I would like to see your makes. I mean, even if there's only a handful of people that's actually gone from beginning to end of this video, I would appreciate seeing what you've done. Your makes. Head over to my Instagram page, message me, and send me photos. If you've got any comments about the video, how you're finishing, how to do anything, any help you want, please leave it under this video. So only to my Instagram when you've finished your bear, please, if you don't mind, because otherwise I get confused where you're coming from. Also, the bear needs a name, so head into my comment section and name the bear. My mum's going to have this one, The sheep, I know where that's going. The other two, I don't know. It won't be going to anybody young, because like I said at the beginning, it's for 14 years and older. There you go, all done. Thank you if you've come along and followed me on this tutorial help video. I'm on with the sheep. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. I am actually doing it. I'll prove to you I am doing it. Oh, it's attached to that. Hold on. There you go. There's the snout of the sheep on its way being done, and the hair. So I've started that tutorial video. The hair is going to be more of a tutorial, because what the pattern says in theory and in practical does not work. So, and I've tried and I've deleted I don't know how many videos. That's it from me, Bev at Planet Crochet. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, share and like my video. That really helps me out. And I'll catch you again on another video, which is the sheep. Bye for now.